Grammar Year 5. Today we'll be looking at apostrophes. Our learning objective is to use apostrophes for possession. You'll need a pencil and paper. When do we use an apostrophe for possession? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. When do we use an apostrophe for possession? We use an apostrophe to indicate ownership by a proper noun. An apostrophe with an S after a proper noun indicates that the person, place or thing owns whatever noun follows his or her name. Using a possessive apostrophe. Let's take a look at some examples. The cat's tail was fluffy. Cat is a singular noun, so you need to add an apostrophe and an S to show that the tail belongs to the cat. Charles's cat was naughty. Charles is a singular noun that ends in an S, so you need to add an apostrophe to show that the cat belongs to Charles. Apostrophes indicating possession, singular nouns. This is Michael's hat. The apostrophe comes after the L and we add the S. The girls' football. The apostrophe comes after the L and girls and we add the S. James's car was red. James's car was red. In this case, when the singular noun ends in S, we can either put the apostrophe after the S or add another S as above. Can you put the apostrophe in the correct place in these sentences? The sentences are: John was playing with Jake's football, the girl's dress was torn on the fence, Jesus' disciples stood on the mountain. Have a go at that and see if you can get them in the right place. Okay, let's see if you put the apostrophes in the correct place in these sentences. John was playing with Jake's football. It's the football that's owned by Jake, so we put the apostrophe after the E in Jake and we add the S. The girl's dress was torn on the fence. It's the girl's dress, so after girl on the L we put the apostrophe and we add the S. Jesus' disciples stood on the mountain. This time we add an extra S and put the apostrophe between the two S's. We could also just put the apostrophe after the word Jesus. Can you put the apostrophe in the correct places in these sentences? Clara had borrowed Rebecca's pencil without asking. The fox's den was well hidden under the trees. The cat was carefully watching the bird's nest. The volcano's craters were rocky and steamy. Best of luck. I'll give you a few seconds to answer those. Okay, let's see if you put the apostrophes in the correct place. Clara had borrowed Rebecca's pencil without asking. The apostrophe, because it's the pencil owned by Rebecca, comes after the A in Rebecca and between the S. The fox's den was well hidden under the trees. It's the den that is owned by the fox, so it's a singular. The fox, we put the apostrophe after the X and add the S. The cat was carefully watching the bird's nest. It's the nest that is owned by the bird, so we put the apostrophe after the D and add the S. The volcano's craters were rocky and steamy. The apostrophe comes after the O in volcano and we have the S. Hope you got all those right. Well done if you did. Apostrophes indicating possession, plural nouns. Let's take a look at some examples. The brothers' feet were muddy. Brothers is a plural noun that ends in an S, so you don't add another S after your apostrophe. You can just add an apostrophe to show the feet belong to the brothers. The children's toys were broken. Children is a plural noun, but it doesn't end with an S, so you need to add an apostrophe and an S to show that the toys belong to the children. Apostrophes indicating possession, plural nouns. In the first one, the boy's ball, we see the apostrophe is indicating that it's singular because the apostrophe comes after the word boy. In the second one, where we've got more than one boy owning the ball, the boy's ball, the apostrophe comes after boys to show that it's got more than one owner. Apostrophes indicating possession, plural nouns. The girls' coats were hanging up in the cloakroom. Because it's the girls, more than one girl, the apostrophe comes after the word girls. The foxes' dens were well hidden. Because it's more than one foxes, the apostrophe comes after the word foxes. The children's seats were put up on the desk before they left the class. We wouldn't say children's, so we put the apostrophe before the S and after children. Can you put the apostrophe in the correct places in these sentences? The boys' pencils were put in their pots. The sisters' toys were left out in the garden. The children's cake stall was a great success. Give you a few seconds to have a go at those. Right, let's see if you put the apostrophe in the right place. The boys' pencils were put in their pots. It's the pencils owned by the boys, so the apostrophe goes after the word boys. The sisters' toys were left out in the garden. It's the toys owned by the sisters, and the apostrophe comes after the word sisters. The children's cake stall was a great success. Like we said, we can't put it after the S because it wouldn't be right to say children's, so we put it after the word children and the S is on the end. Rewrite the sentences adding the apostrophe in the correct place. We've got 10 sentences to have a look at. The puppy's shiny metal water bowl was empty. John's PE kit had gone missing from the porch. The men's clothes were upstairs in the shop. The Domino's box was small and wooden. The Apple's large blue bowl had been smashed on the floor. The class's performance was a big hit with all the parents. Jenny really wanted to be part of Lucy's group. Sally's glasses were pink with purple spots. The family's car were all stuck in the traffic jam. The child's suitcase wouldn't fit in her dad's new car. Have a go at those. I'll give you a couple of minutes or so to have a go at those. Best of luck. Okay, let's see if you were correct in adding the apostrophe in the correct place. The puppy's shiny metal water bowl was empty. The apostrophe comes after the word puppies. John's PE kit had gone missing from the porch. It's the PE kit owned by John, so the apostrophe goes between the word John and the S. The men's clothes were upstairs in the shop. The apostrophe goes after men, because we wouldn't say men's clothes. The Domino's box was small and wooden. The apostrophe goes after Domino's. The apple's large blue bowl had been smashed on the floor. The apostrophe comes after apples. The class's performance was a big hit with all the parents. The apostrophe comes after classes. Jenny really wanted to be part of Lucy's group because it's only Lucy. The apostrophe comes after the word Lucy and between the S. Sally's glasses were pink with purple spots. It's the glasses owned by Sally. So the apostrophe comes after the word Sally and between the S. The family's cars were all stuck in the traffic jam because it's the more than one family, it's the plural. So the apostrophe comes after the word families. The child's suitcase wouldn't fit in her dad's new car. It's the suitcase owned by the child. So the apostrophe comes after child and then we have the S. Hope you got all those correct. Well done if you did.